G'day viewers and welcome back to the channel. A few weeks ago on the update video I mentioned the armrest I've been modifying for my son still needs to be finished. This time we're going to finish it. Stick around. Well, if this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. I hope I can teach you something, you like what you see, and consider subscribing. As I mentioned, I have been modifying an armrest for my tattooist son. Now, we got most of the mechanical work out of the way. Now it's time for upholstery. So here's the original cover. As you can see, it's all cracked and dried and kind of messed up. So we've got some nice new black vinyl, some 1-inch foam, there's 2 pieces of that, and a sheet of thick cardboard. Now the purpose of the cardboard will become very clear very soon, but we're going to put that aside for now. And let me explain why I have 2 pieces of foam. That's what you call small town wires. Local upholsterer didn't have any low or medium density 2-inch foam. They had high density. I don't want high density. I want it to be nice and soft and cushy so it's comfortable when you're resting your arm on it for hours on end. So the best they could do for me is 2 pieces of 1-inch. So we're just going to have to make that work. But now let's get into it. First thing we need to do is get rid of this. Now the best thing for this job obviously is a staple lifter or staple remover. I don't have one of those. I do have a trim clip remover, so I'm just going to use that. Good news and bad news. Good news is, well, they're all out. Bad news is, peel this back. There's another layer of staples underneath it. Keep going. arduous task. Now what I'm going to do, because there's 400,000 holes in that, I'm not going to redo it the same way. I'm going to flip it over, so the foam's going to be here, the staple's going to go in from here. That's just a simple matter of pull these screws out, put them on the other side, and go from there. Alright, with that done, next move, by the way, my apologies, it's really windy today. Next move is to cut the foam. Now this has been cut to approximate size, but not exact size. Now to do this, you're going to need an extremely sharp blade, extremely long sharp blade. Then we're just going to use the wood as a template to cut the foam. And based on that small trial, I'm going to get a Sharpie. Well, not exactly the neatest job, but it's never going to be seen again. So, next step, put this aside and we'll move on. And now we come back to the sheet of cardboard. First thing I'm going to do with this is mark 20 millimeters. Then we're going to put that there. This 600mm ruler on those marks. And clamp down the ends. That'll mean that neither the cardboard nor the ruler will move while I cut off this strip. Need 2 more of those. And now we bring back our board so that we can fit these around the edges. It's almost the perfect length, isn't it? It's like 3mm too long. So first, just trim that. Yeah, that's interesting. But now, we want to trim all these corners at 45 degrees. Probably should have done that before I snipped the corners, because now I've lost my reference. Oh well. And now with those in place, let's trim the first corner. And now we're going to lay that in there, along the edge. There's our mark. And I can cut that. There. Snip that corner and that. Fits nicely in there. Another one for the other end. We're ready to start covering this thing. Now you're probably wondering, what on earth's the cardboard for? Why is there a frame around it? This is where it gets interesting. That on there, and then we tuck that, and then fasten it down, staple it down. What that does is that then creates another border for the material to pull against, and it's not going to tear out because you're going through 2 layers of material. And yeah, it's not going anywhere. Now you can buy these strips from upholsterers and upholstery supplies. Unfortunately, like I said, small town. And yes, the upholsterer does have these, but, well, for reasons only he can explain, he wouldn't sell me any. So, have to make do. And for this, I'm going to be using, 8mm staples, because it's 10mm board. Do the maths. Now, probably the easiest way to start is to actually staple that down first, obviously with a sheet of material underneath it. That's going to anchor everything together. Load up our staple gun, and this staple gun, it's electric, as you may have noticed from the cord. This thing is awesome. You can pay lots of money, up to $100, $150 for a decent staple gun. None of them are going to beat this. And I paid $35 for this. Unbeatable. Anyway, let's get on with it. Hold on, missed a step. We first need to figure out how far it needs to go. So, there's the edge. that can come back about 5mm. About there. About there. Lay that there. And that is 110mm. So we need to move this over 110mm from this edge. Now the interesting part there, do I have enough material here? It's 110mm there, yikes. That'll be fine. Now we can staple this down. There we go. Now, I flip that board. It's going to hold that right there. But now comes the fun part. Foam on there. Flip it over. And you can pull it kind of tight. Now we can go along and put, you know what? Yeah, I'm about again. Pull that tight on that. Then I'm going to go along and put a row of staples in. That will do it. You don't need more than that. Put the foam back in. You want it tight, but you don't want it over tight. I'm just marking there so I know. Actually, I'm going to get a couple more marks so I know where I've got to cut it. That is at 328. Good measurement there. But I need to go 40mm beyond that. You guys can see what I'm doing. Oh yeah. So I say 328. Yep, 368. Alright, let's cut that off. Put that aside for the sec. Let's get this piece on. Now this one's going to be more difficult because we need to hold it in place, tuck it under, and then pull it down. can glue the strips down. I'm not going to take the time to do that because I've done this before and I kind of know what I'm doing. Not really. You guys are probably sitting at home thinking, does he actually know what he's doing? Well, yeah, kind of. Alright. Get the middle set. It's probably the easiest way. Get that tight. Pull that up over there. Staple it. Now you can work on your ends. And yes, that's alright. Use the foam to your advantage. Just compress it. Get that edge in there. You know what? Make my life a bit easier. There we go. Now we can get at it. Tuck all that under. Put tight. Staple it down. There we go. A few more staples in that. We're halfway done. It's 2 sides down, but now comes the difficult part. We need to tuck these ends so that they look, well, flush when it's all said and done. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know. Let it kind of like that. I don't need all this excess here. We do need some of it, but not all of it. So, there we go. That ought to do it. One corner at a time then. Okay, fine. All you upholsterers out there are going to say, that's not how you do it. Yeah, I know, but show me how to do it. Righto, fighting dirty. And one there. There we go. Perfect. Now we're going to get this in here. It's not as tight as I'd like it, so I'm just going to keep pulling it in. I'll have it where I want it. That's going to have to do it. Ah, this corner keeps slipping out. Try again. That's a bit better. Just need to pull that in just a little bit. Right. Cut the end off. Yes, I know I cut it uneven. I did that on purpose. That's now in. comes up evenly. But it doesn't. But anyway. Alright, get some staples in it before I change my mind. Bugger! Doesn't look 100% professional, but it's good enough. Now let's do the other end. Looks good on top. It's all covered. Now, cover this. And you know what? I'm just going to slap it over there and I'm going to staple that down. But first, I'm going to relocate the screws. Are you kidding me? And at that precise moment, it started to rain. So I had to quickly pack up. But it's done. It's all neat on the underside. There we go. Now all I need to do is screw it back onto the stand and it's done. And there we go. All done. I think my son will be happy with that. I think he'd be happy to get it back. And of course, the bat wing nuts. 1, 2, there's number 3. I know it started looking a bit sort of, does this guy know what he's doing? Somewhere in the middle there. Well, hey, I'm not a professional upholsterer. I've done upholstery maybe 4 times in my life. But it's done. And, well, as I said, it's better than it was. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, hit that like button, that thumbs up button down there. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you know when the next one's coming. And I'll see you on the next one.